That was a really good flank.
Any chance you're going back to the atheist experience? No. Well, all right. I suppose there's a slight chance if everybody running the organization leaves, gives me access to my email again, stops being pieces of shit, and then opens things up. Yeah. But other than that, no. Fuck that.
Okay, so Matt Dillahunty is pretty irate, pretty angry about things. And in his small pea-sized brain, he can't fathom to understand why the ACA or the atheist experience hates his guts. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, Matt Dillahunty, but the reason why the ACA hates you and why you lost all of your friends, like Jen Peoples, Tracy Harris, Martin, Jeff D, Don. So he was really close with all these people. They all hate him now. Okay? And he doesn't understand why. Well, gee, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the reason why they all hate you is because you're a loathsome, disgusting piece of fucking shit. That is the reason why they all hate you. And that's the reason why they did all that shit that you find to be so hurtful. Okay? Guess what, dude? They wanted you to quit. They wanted to fucking get rid of you. They were sick of you. And who wouldn't be? Even your ex wife got sick of you very quickly and divorced this guy after 2 years. All right? Now, here's the reason. If it's not already obvious why Matt Dillahunty is a colossal piece of fucking shit, it's because he's a gaslighting phony and he can't take criticism and he can't accept ever being wrong. If you push back on anything he says, he starts yelling at you, telling you how stupid you are, which is a projection of his own stupidity, and a bunch of other petulant, childish insults, which again is a projection of himself. Like I said, he has some kind of problem, okay? But he likes to project his problems, his mental problems, onto others, including me. I'm going to get into that a little bit. But uh, this is indicative of him in that he comports himself in this way with everyone. Okay, so like when you watched the atheist experience back when he was on it until they finally got rid of him because they hated his guts, he would shout down every caller, even if they were making a good point, which admittedly was pretty rare because it's these are theists calling in and trying to defend an indefensible position. So in that sense, it was easy for him to kind of give the appearance that he knew what he was talking about. But that's low-hanging fruit. When it came to actually engaging as a human being in society, this guy is a social reject. Okay. Now, it's kind of funny how he's throwing the ACA and the atheist experience under the bus so much. Um, no one would know who this guy is if it weren't for the ACA platforming him. Okay, he used to actually just be a caller. He called into the show when Don and someone else was hosting the show, and eventually he just showed up one day and they let him speak, and then he basically just took over. Um, in the sense, like he's quite cunning in that regard. But remember what cunning actually means. Cunning does not mean you are intelligent. Cunning means you're able to use lies and deception to further your own goals. And that's exactly what gaslighting Matt Dillahunty does. Okay, he uses lies and deception and gaslighting tactics to essentially get what he wants. Okay, and then he got a really huge ego, and he thought he was the leader of the atheist experience. He thought he was the leader of the ACA. He never was. He was a loser. He always was a loser. So that would have been fine, but his interactions with the people that used to be his friends was toxic, all right? Because they couldn't speak to him. He would always, anytime they would have any kind of like mild disagreement over, this thing or that thing, he would just yell and then start calling them names, which again is a projection of his own immaturity and his own like repressed childhood, whatever you want to call it. Okay, people who have who are petty like that and have such a small ego, you know, this is the way they behave, and that's the reason why they can't keep friends. But since he grew on, since he got this platform and owes everything to the ACA for that, um, he got some sycophants. So he surrounds himself with toxic, disgusting, loathsome pieces of shit who are just like him. And then these are his new friends. But the old friends, like Tracy Harris, Jen Peoples, what happened to them? They flew the coop. And guess what was the last straw with them? The last straw with them was when this guy actually started defending a transphobe. Okay, there was an incident where they invited a transphobe on, thanks to Matt Dillahunty. He became friends with some transphobe somewhere, didn't even live in America. Invited him on the show after he made a transphobic video, and then that made them look really bad. And the ACA tried to distance themselves from this guy, saying, "Okay, you can't come on the show anymore. You're vile. We want nothing to do with you." But Matt likes this guy. He said, "No, I like you. You guys aren't going to kick him out. We're going to let him come on." And since Matt had so much clout, they had no choice but to acquiesce to his demands, because he shouts down everyone, and no one had the real guts to stand up to him. Because he had too much power and he yells a lot. But in fact, this guy's a wimp. Okay, this guy can't stand up to anyone in real life because he's a pathetic little bitch. Okay, he knows he can only act tough when he's hiding behind a computer screen. Okay, but in real life, he's a little coward bitch. Okay, because he knows that he would get his ass beat if he spoke to anyone like that in real life, other than his friends, that is. Okay, his friends have to put up with it, or his former friends, that is. That is until he did what I just talked about. So when he did that, there were some people who just would not take it anymore. So people like Jen Peoples and Tracy Harris, that was the line in the sand for them. They had already had so many issues with this colossal piece of shit that this was the straw that broke the camel's back. This was the line that they could not cross. Okay, you're going to choose a transphobe over the people who you've known and were supposed to be friends with for years? Okay, well, nice knowing you. And the rest of the people at the ACA, they were in a tough spot. They didn't know what to do. So they had to put up with this jackass for years after that. Okay, but they hated him, and you can actually see. I wish I had some of the videos prepared. Maybe I might be able to get some of that later. But there was tension that even was displayed during their shows. Okay, where like Matt would just constantly take shots at his co-host. I forgot who it was, but he would take these really like nasty, vindictive, and petty shots at his co-host. And this sack of shit has the audacity to then start pointing the finger at other people for having mental problems. Yeah, I'm not joking. He starts talking about me. All right, let's watch a little bit more. I'm going to have to skip ahead a little bit. I'm not really sure when he starts talking about this nonsense again.
I should have just ignored it.
With it though.
I know, when you said from site, it took me that long to figure out what the fuck you meant.
all right.
much better. And so in addition to being able to stay completely on mission.
Okay, here we go. On mission. Yeah,
Actually,
yeah, right.
At this point, I'd say there's no chance at all that I would go back to Atheist Experience.
They don't want you back. Okay, I just told you. They were trying to get rid of your ass. Okay? They didn't want you. And here's the thing. They couldn't fire him because that would make them look bad. But they desperately wanted to get rid of him. They hated him. Okay? So eventually, they did some stuff that you could consider to be petty, but he's been a child king this entire time. Okay, you can tell the measure of a person's character when you give them a little bit of power. Okay, and he abused it completely. Okay, so don't get it mixed up, dumbass. Okay, they wanted to get rid of you. They didn't want to fire you, but they wanted you to quit, and you did exactly what they wanted you to do because you're a dope.
Because everything at the line network is going much better. And so in addition to being able to stay completely on mission, I'm not working my ass off for free so that 5 other people can draw a paycheck.
Listen how angry he is. He is so jealous. This guy is so, like, you see, like, that provides a little window into his real character. Okay? He's avarice. He wants money. He wanted to get paid. He's like, why isn't the ACA giving me all the money that these other people get? It's because you're useless. It's because you're reprobate. Okay, you're dead weight. You've been dead weight the entire time, but they couldn't get rid of you. That's why you weren't getting paid. And gee, how insightful. This guy's only doing it for the money. He always was. Yeah, because he couldn't do anything else with his life. Before he joined the ACA, this guy was a reject. He was unemployed. He had no job, no talents, no skill, no college education. He was a nobody. Now he's talking about how he's doing so much better now. Yeah, right. On his stream, he had like 20 people. Okay, now for a nobody, that's not bad. But for someone who is supposed to be as, like who was on the ACA for so long, Atheist Experience, you would think this guy would have more than 20 people on his stream watching him. No, this guy has nobody watching him. Okay, now, like I said, for a nobody, that would be a lot. But he's not supposed to be a nobody. In his mind, he's huge. He thinks he's world famous. When you think you're a celebrity, you're not a celebrity, Matt. You never were a celebrity. You were always a loser. Okay? And that's the reason why you're a loser is because you're a petty, petulant bitch. All right? And I'm going to demonstrate it to you right here. This motherfucker is so juvenile, so petty, and so vindictive that he actually starts talking about me. All right, let's watch.
Instead, for Streamlabs to figure out what the hell's going on after I problem. But I don't like to do that. And it seems to be like either this is I don't
Okay, so he's talking about me here. He's talking about me.
I guess what I would like to understand, but I'm not going to go through it right now, even if you have the answers, because we got to go run and do stuff, is I'd like to understand whether he's just obsessed about this issue or if he's obsessed about me or some combination, because it's...
Okay. I am not obsessed with either. I'm not obsessed with you, Matt. That's your ego. You want people to be obsessed with you, but no one really thinks about you. Okay? Nor am I obsessed about the issue. Okay? The issue was important. And so, since I knew that I was right, and since I knew that you were wrong, it was worth addressing. And what made things worse was your behavior, your petulant, juvenile behavior, where you gaslighted, lied constantly. And then, and the most bizarre thing is during that conversation yesterday, you constantly acknowledged that I was right, but then said, no, you're wrong. What a moron. Okay? So, of course, I'm going to address the issue because you're wrong. But he can't handle being wrong, even over an issue that he deems to be not important. Now, he goes on to say that he doesn't care or he doesn't talk about it a lot. This is his way of saying, I was wrong. Now, instead of saying, yeah, you know what? I was wrong when I was debating. He was right. He made excellent points. Instead of acknowledging that he was making valid points, I decided to attack him and start yelling like a bitch, making myself look stupid. But yes, he was correct. Now, instead of saying that, he says, I don't care. I don't talk about this issue that much. These are Drumpf tactics. This is the shit that Drumpf does. Wow, these guys have so much in common. Gaslighting phonies, liars. And then what does he do? He then makes insinuations about my mental health, along with his little white knight here, trying to imply that I'm mentally ill? Really? You're the one whose ex-wife left you, dude, because you're a piece of shit. You're the one who's ran away from the ACA because they couldn't stand you. You're the one who yells and screams at everyone and then starts name calling them, insulting them, which, by the way, are all descriptions of you. And then you have the audacity to start implying something about my mental health? Fuck you. I could say so much worse, and I might, because there's plenty of evidence of him saying so much worse, especially regarding children. I'm not joking. And there's video evidence of that.
Really weird. Somebody jumps in, starts on a topic that I don't normally ever address.
You hear that? He lied twice. So he admits that he never doesn't normally ever address it. Okay, so you admit that you're ignorant. So this is his way of saying that, yeah, I was wrong. And that guy was right. Okay? Now, but what did he say before?
Me or some combination, because it's really weird. Somebody jumps in, starts on a topic that...
Okay, jumps in and starts on a topic. That's a lie. And you guys saw that, right? You saw the previous video. I didn't bring up the topic. Someone else did. It's right there in the chat. It's in the video. There's video proof of it. I did not bring up that topic. I addressed a question that someone else asked. What a liar. What a gaslighter. There's the proof right there for you. He's a lying, gaslighting bitch. Holy fuck. I might have to make another video about this, but I do want to kind of keep this within scope. So let that simmer in your mind. Him constantly complaining and bitching about how the ACA was so mean to him and bad to him. Yeah. Gee, I wonder why. Maybe it's because you project all of your inferiorities onto others. Okay? That's what this guy is. He's a walking, talking inferiority complex because he knows that he's inferior. He's an inferior human being. But he can't stand being pointed out how inferior and stupid that he is. So he projects his own inferiority and stupidity onto others. All right. See ya, guys.